Hello and welcome back to 67 Hail Hail. You find us 5 minutes after Livingston won, Celtic nil. Another disappointing day away from home. You join a fellow McGinley. You've got Ryan McGinley and then John McGinley here. John, mate, how did you find that? It was a tough watch, you could say.
Yeah, a real tough watch. Kind of no real hiding places after that. It's difficult because when you lose away in Europe against a team like Betis, you can take positives away from it. But I thought the performance matched the result today in the sense that I don't think we probably really deserved anything out of that at times. Kind of okay in spells, but never really put anything together that you could really hang your hat on. And effectively, what do we work the goalkeeper once?
Once or
And
twice, yeah.
twice. So it's not really good enough. How are you feeling after that?
Just I'm gutted. I'm not surprised because I've watched us away from home already this season. I've seen how we're like under adversity when we've got adversity against us, and we've got everything against us. We just struggle. First 20 minutes, I thought we were really good. I thought we started the game really, really well. You had Rogic sort of dictating things, and then all of a sudden they score out of nothing. I would say defensively poor from Welsh. I thought he had one of his poorest games in a Celtic top today. A great finish by Shinnie, but it's poor defensively. And then from then on, we just completely lacked any sort of belief and desire to get back in the game. I mean, it wasn't through a lack of trying, but at the same time, we could have played for another 90 minutes today and we wouldn't have scored. I would have been quite annoyed if we'd scored because we didn't deserve an equaliser today. Very disappointing. That's six defeats already away from home this season. That's really, really not good enough. It's best not to look at the stats when you're looking at things like that. No, I'm very, very disappointed. Obviously, we made four changes coming into the game. We seen Bowley come into the team. That was the sort of sideshow that was at the start of this game. Bowley was back after an extended leave, you could say. I don't know. He was away in Turkey for a season after his exploits away from home, you could say. He went to Malaga. Less said about
It
that, the better.
wasn't quite a ball and goalie Sunday though, was it? We were all hoping for that. When the team was announced, they thought it could be a big blockbuster return, but we never really got anything close to
I know.
a happy ending in that regard. It's
No,
interesting you say
definitely
about
not.
the away games there, right? The difference I think between today and maybe some of the other away games is you can kind of make not excuses, but you can come up with valid mitigating factors for some of
Yep.
the other performances and defeats. Like even the Hearts one at the start of the season, Ange was literally just in the door and barely put any kind of team together, never mind half a team. The Rangers game is the Rangers game, that is what it is. A Alkmaar game, we eventually ground out a positive result over the aggregate. So that didn't feel like too much of a defeat. Again, Betis, I thought we were good on Thursday night. So
Hmm.
today is like the first time where I feel like we're going away from home. We've lost the game, and it's not a game we should have lost. Especially, I think there's going to be a bit of to and fro in terms of Rangers dropping points and Celtic dropping points this season. But today's a game that we really need to put away. My big problem or my big concern is that Celtic can't afford to be a team that only gets results at home. We need to be a team that can go on the road and play successfully.
It's very much like Arsenal in the Premier League. They get a lot of the results at home, but away from home, that's where it all goes to pot. I mean, you look at the result across the city. You see Rangers dropping points to Motherwell. They've been dropping points a couple of times this season already. Celtic, all they had to do was go out and do their job and get a result away from home. And again, we've not done it. That's is it three defeats at home? No, not three defeats at home. Three defeats away from home in the league this season.
Yep.
It's really, really not good enough. And I know we've had a good start in terms of the way that we're playing, that sort of fresh style of play. But at the end of the day, it's results that you need, and it's been very mixed in terms of results. It's really disappointing.
What are you taking away from that? Is it squad depth, do you think, is the big thing? I mean, you look at some of the players we brought in today. I mean, the passenger, well, I hate to use a word like passenger, but like I just didn't
Mm.
think James McCarthy was anywhere close to A, either being fit or, B, being good enough for the. I thought Sorrell made an impact when he came on, which is not really
Hmm.
what you're wanting. Again, Ayeti's coming in for Kyogo. I thought he looked like he was kind of carrying some sort of injury as well. There was a lack of movement from him throughout, although we didn't really give him any service at all. Is it squad depth that's your
Yeah.
big concern here?
Um, I mean, there is depth in the squad. It's just the problem is we've got a lot of people that are injured as well at the moment. We've got
Yeah.
Kyogo, who you would expect to be in the starting lineup. You would think in an ideal world, a Yeti would be an impact sub. You've got guys that just aren't up to match fitness, and some of them are in the team and others aren't. Giacomakis hasn't even quoted yet. He's not. Maybe he'll get his game on Thursday night. James McCarthy doesn't look fit either. Doesn't look close to match fitness. It's just there's so many different stages in terms of the players that we've got available and where they are. They're in different sort of. We're missing quite a few players in that team, and we're missing a leader at the middle of the park that can get us through these games when we are faced with adversity, I would say. I'm not going to sit and talk about we should have Scott Brown in that team, but we should have that sort of replacement there that is going to drive us through in games like this away from home when the going gets tough, when we're down 1-0. And we didn't have that today. We just had quite a few passengers. I don't like using that term either, but you could use that for quite a number of players today. A lot of players were just lost in the game. I thought Turnbull was poor again. I know he was trying his hardest, but he can get really infuriating when it isn't coming off for him. It's very obvious when he's not playing well. It comes across like that. Rogic, after 20 minutes, I didn't really notice him at all in the game. I think the only sort of players that get a pass mark today, I think Bowley was trying his hardest. He was trying to get balls in the box, but nothing was really coming off. It was just very, very disappointing. It's a nightmare. It's another defeat, and it's another wasted opportunity, especially when you see other teams dropping points as well. It was a good chance for us to get back on track today, and we didn't do that. Is there any positives for you? Did you see any positives today?
I mean, Joe Hart, of course, obviously came up with two crucial saves that could have made the result a lot worse, and they were both cracking saves, to be fair to him. So you've got to say Joe Hart. I thought Carter Vickers was all right in spells of that game as well. I didn't really have much of a problem with him. Got a question here from Don Quadrado. Where's the big Greek striker? Now, you might not be aware, but basically he didn't have a pre-season. He was injured at the end of last season. Didn't have a pre-season, didn't play any pre-season matches, so effectively coming into Celtic very, very cold. Now, obviously he's been working up his fitness and said he had a chance of being in the squad for today. Obviously that didn't turn out to be the case. He said if he wasn't in the squad for today, he'd definitely be in it for the match against Wraith Rovers on Thursday night. So I would expect to see the big Greek striker, as he put it, this week, finally, eventually, which I think will be a big benefit. Again, Callum McGregor expected to feature on Thursday night, so those guys aren't long-term out. So we should have another couple of players, like another couple of options for Ange to go with. I don't have any real concerns about the upcoming home games, to be quite frank with you, but I do have concerns about this away thing. I mean, I think it is a valid point. We need to find a way to win away from home, and as you say, the game's just passing some players by, and I don't think that's really good enough. I mean, Celtic need to be competing further up the table in the Scottish Premiership, and to do that, you need wins away from home. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all well and good playing nice, attractive football at home, but you've got to, when the going gets tough away from home, you've got to force the issue and get chances in and getting goals. And it doesn't look as if we're doing that at all. It's really, really annoying because when you have the lion's share of possession away from home, you've got to be testing their goalkeeper. And I can only think once or twice when we actually tested their goalkeeper, I think Livingston actually had the better chances over the balance of play. I mean, that's a great save in the first half from Joe Hart that should. If the Livingston attacker picks any side that's a goal, he hits it straight at Joe Hart, and Joe Hart makes a great save. Thank goodness we have him in the team, because he's getting us out of even worse results, you could say. He's definitely another positive, I would say. I know you mentioned him, but it's already looking like an inspired signing having him at the back. It's good. It's good we're not guessing about what goalkeeper we'll have in this week. It's Joe Hart and Joe Hart basically. Today's just a massive, massive disappointment. Again, away from home. You're just looking for us to do the business. Every other team that's came to Livingston have won, and we're the first team that haven't. And we've given Livingston their first win of the season. It's really, really disappointing. I do expect a wee bit more from Celtic.
You did say on Twitter we seem to have a knack of kickstarting other team seasons, don't we? That seems to be our specialty over the last 18 months, which is a disappointment.
I know we're a very generous side in that in that way.
comment here from Plexiplox. Thanks for the super chat. Says, what's wrong with Scales and Shaw that they can't get minutes, looking like they won't even play in the cup tie? You got any concerns about some of the players that are kind of on the fringes that were signed this summer that don't look like even getting any minutes?
I think we'll be in a better position to say that after Thursday's game when we see who gets in that team for the game against Raith Rovers. I do see the team getting rotated quite a bit. Obviously, we should have Callum McGregor back in the side, which would be absolutely brilliant. We've missed him in that middle, in that sort of engine room. But I want to see players like Scales and that get game time as well. Maybe Bowley gets another chance in there. Either that or Scales plays out in the left. I know he can play there as well as centre half. But I do want to see these guys get game time. Guys that maybe haven't had lots of minutes so far this season. We'll be in a better position after Thursday to say whether or not players will get game time, because I think Thursday's a good time to give these guys more chances on the pitch.
Couple of interesting comments. One from Matthew Rossi saying he didn't think it was the game to play players who haven't had a real competitive match. Another from Kirsty here. Do you not think there was too many changes today? I think it comes down to maybe Ange was forced into those changes. I don't think he's doing it, because he just wants to tinker with the team. Played a really high intensity game on Thursday in 30-degree heat in Spain on Thursday night. So you can see what was it, 4 changes today. I mean, it wasn't like it was the whole team. I kind of get the point, but I think it's perhaps a point you can make in hindsight, and not. I wasn't too disheartened by the team that was on the pitch today. It was kind of, I was just expecting a bit more from the players. But again, it's another 11 that haven't really played any football together. You're never going to get fluency. You're never going to get tactical, the optimum tactical approach when you kind of don't have a team together. So I kind of do see your point, but maybe Ange has been forced into this.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, regardless of who comes in and out of the team, I don't really see that as an excuse, because they're all playing the same system anyway. They should know the system inside out, regardless of who's in and out. I know it's better for fluidity if the same 11 play, but the sort of play that we play, the sort of game that we play, rather, it's very demanding. There is going to be squad rotation throughout the season. The players that come in have got to do as well a job as the players going out the way. And today, I just don't think a lot of players lived up to it at all. So the 4 players that went out of the team from Thursday night were Ralston, Starfelt, Sorrow and Montgomery. I think we did miss Ralston in this team today, that driving force going forward. You miss his drive when he's not in the team. Although I do think out of the two, Juranovic is a better player than Ralston, but Ralston will give you that heart and that drive going forward. And then Sorrell, to be fair to him, when he came on, he justified why he should have maybe been starting, because he was actually one of our better players when he came on. He was making forward passes that other players should have been doing. That's not his game to be playing forward passing.
I mean,
trying
but
to play
that's kind of
stuff.
In such a comparison to McCarthy, though, who just was passing it side to side and was kind of almost
Very
walking
safe
through the game. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's maybe why Sorrell looked good in comparison to that, rather than him actually being effective, which is a worry. There's a lot of angry comments today in the chat. Disgraceful performance, poor performance. I understand this reaction. It's where we go from here again. It's about coming back from a performance and a result like this. The big disappointment, of course, obviously, I don't know, you might be watching this and not be aware, but Rangers dropped points today at home to Motherwell, drew 1-1. I mean, we've really kind of missed an opportunity to put pressure on them again. And it's not a good day for Celtic when your 2 big positives from the day are that your goalkeeper played well in Joe Hart and that Rangers dropped points, is it?
It's almost like a complete reverse. Remember when we played Livingston a couple of seasons ago? It was right before lockdown happened, and we get 2 each against Livingston, which we dropped points, but Rangers lost at home to Hamilton. So it felt like a point gained rather than the points dropped. It feels like the complete reverse. It's a missed opportunity, considering how well we started. I thought for 20 minutes we were playing some great stuff, but as it's happened a couple of times this season, you're faced with a wee bit of adversity and the team crumbles. It's really not good enough. There needs to be a wee bit more heart. There needs to be more drive to get back into the game when it doesn't go well for us, because their goal at the end of the day, it did come against the run of play. Even the Livingston commentators were saying that too. They were saying this goal is completely against the run of play. We didn't see that coming at all. But I mean, as a Celtic fan, we've seen this all before. We flatter to deceive. We have so many chances, or half chances rather, but we never take them, and then the other team, every team seems to punish us when they go up the park and score. It's very, very disappointing. Where do we go from here? Thursday night, obviously we're playing against Raith Rovers. What do you see? Do you see changes in the team? Do you see us going strong to try and get a good result at home?
I mean, I think he's going to go strong. I mean, I don't think he's going to take this for granted. You know, it would be a shock if we went out of the League Cup to Raith Rovers at home. I don't really have too much concern about our home. You know, I'm looking at the fixture list and I'm kind of just hoping that by the time 3rd of October comes around, which is when we go to Pittodrie, that the squad is just in much better shape in terms of personnel that are fit, and we'll have the kind of players that can kind of give us a structure that can be successful. I watched Aberdeen yesterday and they were very poor, but then you come into today's game and you see, if anyone had been watching Livingston in recent weeks, they would say they were very poor as well. My concern is that maybe Livingston have shown like a pretty viable way to kind of stop us getting results away from home, and that they concede the wings, pack the box, and hope that, you know, players like Abada, players like Bolingolier, although I don't think he'll be playing regularly, aren't going to be able to find that magical cross. I mean, it is a risk, but if they have a goal lead, that's what they're going to do. So we've got Raith Rovers, we've got United at home next Sunday, then we've got Leverkusen at home. You know, those will all be exciting home games that I actually expect us to do decently in. But it's this Aberdeen game on the horizon. It is a little bit of a concern for me. If we play like that,
Yep.
At Pittodrie, then we're facing another defeat, or at least certainly not getting a win.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's one of those ones that teams even off form, such as Livingston today, they were off form, and then Aberdeen will be looking at that game on the 3rd of October, and they'll be saying we could kickstart our season because we're playing against Celtic. Celtic are there to be got at away from home, which is really, really disappointing when you look at the contrast of how well we've played at home this season. It's very, very lopsided in terms of our home form and away form, and it's really disappointing, and it's something that needs to be addressed. It's certainly form that won't see us get our title back. We need to address the away form if we're going to get anywhere this season, I would say. But is there anything else you want to bring up before we bring an end to this sort of torture?
No, just bringing up this funny comment. John Hayden from That Sun was like, me watching the match today, lads, out of the corner of my eye. That is very true. I need to get curtains in this kitchen, man. It happens every time there's a bit of sunshine. It's a bit of a nightmare, but we progress and we do better. We try to do better next time. Just like Andrew's Celtic. That's us.
Yeah. If we've got any positives that we can take, at least my internet connection's a wee bit better today, because in the last game against Rangers, it was cutting on and off, which, to be fair, depending on what I'm saying, might have not been too bad, I think. But a very, very disappointing day all in. A missed opportunity, you could say. But thanks to everyone for getting involved in the chat. We've got 490 people watching, which is amazing, even after a defeat. People that want to talk about Celtic and listen to other Celtic fans talk about Celtic, which is absolutely brilliant. Have you got anything else to add?
No, I think that's it. I think we'll kind of wrap up there. I hate these live shows are a bit of a minefield anyway. On the back of a defeat, they're always particularly difficult. I'm feeling pretty glum about Celtic today, I have to be honest. I'm not going to lie and kind of gloss over the fact that, you know, I think everything's brilliant there. But we move on and we play Raith Rovers on Thursday. Got another home game on Sunday, and hopefully we can pick up a couple of decent results and get back on track. We need a bit of luck this season in terms of keeping our best 11 on that park, and that's the big concern for me at the moment. And hopefully we've got a squad fighting fit for that game against Aberdeen at Pittodrie at the start of next month.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, we've got a game in 4 days' time, so we can sort of right our wrongs or try our best to right our wrongs of the game, which means it's a quick turnaround, and that's quite good. So fingers crossed we get the business done on Thursday. But thank you very much, John, for joining me on this.
Cheers.
It's been a bad day at the office, but you know, it's Celtic. We wouldn't have it any other way. Obviously, we wish we were winning, but at the same time, it's Celtic. You know what we're like. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, and see you in the next video. Cheers.